Please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic?
Hello everyone, welcome to the exhibition of stupid people. I was going to be doing a part 3 to I'm Alex, but the beta podcast just came out. Rather interesting episode, especially the pyro stuff towards the end. Additionally, some of the tweets I wanted to reference are protected, others have been outright deleted. If archive wasn't such ass at the moment, this would not have happened. But efforts will be made to try and perhaps get that done for tomorrow. Before we dive into the first subject, I'd like to promote my Not Worth a Cork YouTube channel. Now, I made this channel as a way of exploring the world of whiskey, and I've been uploading regular shorts now that I'm full-time using my log cabin as an office, which has been jolly good fun. I have also taken it upon myself to explore avenues where I can improve upon certain beverages or food groups with a delightful single malt. If at all interested in watching or listening, please consider doing so. My dog does make regular cameos. Not on the platform Cameo, although you never know. If things get tough enough, I'm sure WYSIWYO wouldn't mind, because extra treats for good doggo. So shameless promotion aside, let us begin with the 16-time hot dog eating champion, Joey Chestnut, who has recently been banned from the Nathan's famous 4th of July contest, which he has won, earlier mentioned, 16 times. In fact, he holds the world record for the most hot dogs eaten in 10 minutes. The weirdest flex I have ever come across in my life. And of course, I'm not going to judge people for these kind of competitions. I have, after all, watched Beard Meets Food win one of these very competitions. It's very exciting stuff, to be honest, and impressive at the same time that the body can hold on to that. Joey Chestnut, more commonly known as Jaws, holds 55 competing eating world records. Last year, he actually fell short of his own record, but still put away 63 sausages, blaming his performance on stormy weather. Now, I didn't realise stormy weather impacted one's ability to shove food in one's gob, but you are the expert, not I. He recently signed an endorsement deal with Consequence now with Impossible Foods. Impossible Foods make the plant-based meat stuff, the Impossible Meats. Yes. According to the Major League Eating, MLE, which is the contest Nathan Famous's governing body, this is prohibited because you are endorsing a competitor hot dog brand. In a statement, they said, "We are devastated to learn that Joey Chestnut has chosen to represent a rival brand that sells plant-based hot dogs, rather than competing in the 2024 Nathan's Famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest." MLE and Nathan's went to great lengths in recent months to accommodate Joey and his management team, agreeing to the appearance fee, allowing Joey to compete in a rival unbranded hot dog eating contest on Labor Day. For nearly 2 decades, we have worked under the same basic hot dog exclusivity provisions. However, it seems that Joey and his managers have prioritized a new partnership with a different hot dog brand over our long-time relationship. Joey has disputed these claims on Twitter, because that's the best place to do this, by saying, "I was gutted to learn from the media that after 19 years I'm banned from the Nathan's July 4th hot dog eating contest. I love competing in that event. I love celebrating America with my fans all over this great country, third world, on the 4th, and I've been training to defend my title. To set the record straight, I do not have a contract with MLE or Nathan's, and they are looking to change the rules from past years as it relates to other partners I can work with. This is apparently on the basis of which I am being banned, and it doesn't impact the July 4th event. Sadly, this is the decision Nathan's and Major League Eating are making, and it will deprive the great fans of the holiday's usual joy and entertainment," finishing with some platitudes to his fans. In this instance, Joey Chestnut got a considerable amount of traction on these 3 tweets, and I fully expect to see Nathan's hot dog, let's say, reverse their ruling at some point in the near future. Not least because if there was no exclusivity contract involved, they have no right to introduce the rules in the first place, to try and tie people down like that. After looking at Joey's Twitter, he is very active in many different competitions. So why is this one the problem? I will admit there is something odd about somebody though doing something, on one hand going with Impossible Meats, whilst also doing competitions devouring considerable amounts of meat. But you know what, I'm not going to poke too much at that. Just focus on the fact that the moment he got an endorsement, he was banned from a competition. Because that tickles me, okay? I'm allowed to be tickled. Shall we move on and talk about Just Stop Oil now? Because I can't avoid this one, and I can't believe they're still about. As you can see on the screen, Just Stop Oil were trending on Twitter, as was Stonehenge, Big Oil, and Arseholes. It's just coincidental when I took a screenshot of this, and with Annie's tweet, I effing hate people, just happened to be right next to it. It seems appropriate. On Twitter, Stonehenge UK tweeted, Just Stop Oil protesters damage Stonehenge, with a video to accompany it. I'm going to play that video here. In this instance, I'm inclined to believe Just Stop Oil don't realise what they've just done. In the past, because of their credentials, they've always gone after paintings that were behind glass, or petrol stations, roads, motorways, things that weren't generally, let's say, too damaging to the public, although somewhat ironically were when you held up traffic on the motorway. Don't forget here, the law had to be changed protester-wise because of you idiots. Something which the entire government and opposition supported. You've taken this and now done something really bad because you've gone after a heritage site. Heritage sites are not protected in the same way by glass and plastic sheets, which means you've now crossed into a different law entirely. Just Stop Oil had replied to Stonehenge by saying, the orange cornflower we used will soon wash away with the rain, but the urgent need for effective government action to mitigate the catastrophic consequences of the climate and ecological crisis will not. This tweet has been seen 11.4 million times, 3.7k likes, 14,000 replies. If I was seeking to give Keffels a renaissance opportunity, this is the one you want to ratio. Seriously, you want to ratio that. The Prime Minister saw this and said that Just Stop Oil are a disgrace, and of course people attacked Rishi Sunak. Of course they did, because government. Stonehenge retweeted Just Stop Oil by saying Stonehenge is protected by the Ancient Monuments Act, and it is a criminal offence to damage the stones. There are also multiple rare lichen species growing on the stones that are also protected. Expect a prison sentence. These are the two lobcocks who did this. One of them looks like he might be retiring soon, and the other one looks like he's never held a job in his life. If you have a mullet at the back there, I'm going to cut it. You two feckless worms were dealt with by two tourists who, as far as I'm concerned, should be given honorary MBEs for what they did. I don't care what you think you're trying to accomplish. As far as I'm concerned, you are absolutely poisoning the well for anyone else who's trying to do more environmentally friendly things. You are acting local while thinking global. You should be thinking local, acting local as well. Our country's too small to make those levels of impact on the worldwide stage. That's the truth of the matter. It really is. Your ignorance is astonishing. Just Stop Oil have been irrelevant for a while. That's why I've not covered them much on this channel. Just Stop Oil have been community noted because of this, with others pointing out that on the Stonehenge visit, when it comes to touching the stones, and it's highlighted, people constantly touching the stones, the lichen that surround the stones will be less able to grow and will mean the stones are less protected by pollution from the environment, meaning they actually protect the stones. We're coming up to the summer solstice. There's a whole event with this when it comes to Stonehenge. I do not recommend defacing an actual monument because it's protected by different laws to that of art in a gallery, art that is protected, by the way. You fools have just proven how out of touch you are. You are Just Stop Oil, universally hated because of how crappy you are. By the way, you chose this site that has no connection with oil and the environment. A site that has stood the test of time through tribalism, Roman and Norman occupation, and is the centerpiece of all things spiritual on these great isles. If someone could be asked, I'm sure they'd slap you with domestic terrorist charges as well. Because of the law that is protecting these stones, you guys are in legitimate trouble. The Ancient Monuments Act actually does carry prison sentences. And I'll happily set up a GoFundMe to put you two in prison for a lengthy period of time, just for the lols of it. One of you is getting passed around like a joint in the prison. The other one's going to be made to work in a library. Can you guess which one? And don't be the pedantic guy who says, he made an inappropriate joke. I don't care. Alright? Don't be that person today. Alright? Learn to take a joke. Honourable mention goes to Kathleen Kennedy, who is not best impressed that The Acolyte has an abysmal and not the fun Joey Tribbiani kind rating on Rotten Tomatoes of 16%. Kathleen Kennedy, well, she's decided that it is the fault of the male fans for not being on board with a female lead show. Fans have pointed out, and I'm going to join them on this one, Fallout had a female lead too, you loser! It can't be because you've undone literally every shred of Star Wars canon, ruined the story of Anakin Skywalker, and shat on an entire fan base in the process. But it's totally the male Star Wars fans' fault for not appreciating a show that basically craps on everything. Okay, just before we move on, I'm going to read the quote from Kathleen Kennedy, the deluded. I think Leslie has struggled a little bit with it. I think a lot of the women who step into Star Wars struggle with this a bit more. Because of the fan base being so male dominated, they sometimes get attacked in ways that can be quite personal. Then how about instead of constantly writing stuff that alienates that audience, you write stories they want you to write? How about that? How about you actually appeal to your wider audience? Stop paying lip service when it suits you and then shitting on them when it's convenient. This is called F around and find out, Kathleen. You are a loser for continuing to do this. You and any other major film production company that continue to push these messages that do not resonate with your wider fan base. Blame it on misogyny all you want, but this is your fault, and Acolyte is a great testament to how much you suck at producing what the fans of Star Wars want. Star Trek's still better though. I guess while we're here, I'm also going to mention that the Doctor Who ratings are continuing to go down. Now on Wikipedia, which do actually have the correct consolidated UK viewer millions of numbers, which then based on streaming numbers as well from BBC iPlayer, indicate that the show had briefly gone back up ever so slightly with the episode Rogue. However, The Legend of Ruby Sunday, when it was first released, got 2.02 million viewers before it went up on iPlayer. The numbers when it comes to streaming for Doctor Who aren't great at the best of times. They're really not. And they've been going down consistently for a while. When it comes to this first season with the new Doctor and the format they're deciding to use to get the numbers up quicker by putting it on iPlayer a lot sooner than they ordinarily used to, would indicate there is a level of desperation to try and inflate the numbers as soon as possible, knowing that the law of diminishing returns and the rewatchability is not there for these episodes. Unlike previous seasons, where the known numbers for streaming of these episodes and of course viewership for the time of Eccles Cake, 10-inch, Matt Smith, even Capaldi were significantly higher than that of Jodie Whittaker and this guy whose name I can't be asked to learn to pronounce because I don't care enough. I understand the cost of the episodes has gone up, which is why there are less episodes in the series. But there's also less faith in these episodes doing well, and you, because of your influence from Disney, are doing a terrible job of producing what the fans want. A great example is this show. I wanted to highlight it because there are a number of articles I've seen, and I'll link them down below, that talk about the overnight numbers, where the numbers are horrendous, but then point out how desperate the BBC are to get those numbers a little bit higher through streaming sooner than later. Now that does speak volumes about the nature of how people digest content. More streaming, yes. But then if you're getting 2 million viewers watching the episode and then another 1.5 million watching on streaming platforms, surely then it would be wise for you to then push with the streaming platform instead, because TV is clearly dead for the show, or going to die for the show. This show is close to reaching its 20-year anniversary since its reboot, which is one hell of a milestone to achieve. 100% it is. But in the context of what this show is becoming, this is not a flex anymore. The final subject I want to talk about concern the Surrey police. They have been told to carry out an investigation into why an escaped calf was contained on an urban street after it had been hit with a patrol car. The Surrey Police referred itself to the Independent Office for Police Conduct, IOPC, after a video emerged of the cow being rammed on Friday night. which sparked widespread outrage, something which I've seen, do not recommend you watch. The IOPC have said an inquiry will be carried out by Surrey's Professional Standards Department. So basically, they're going to get off and be not even given a slap on the wrist. Deputy Chief Constable Nev Kemp said he knew how important it was to provide the public with answers on the incident and the events leading up to it. On Twitter, the Surrey Police put out a statement saying yesterday evening, on the 14th, yes, they tweeted this out on the 15th, at around 8:55 PM we received reports that a cow was running loose in Staines. The cow was running loose throughout the evening on a number of main roads, and during this time we received numerous calls from the public reporting a car being damaged and it running at members of the public. Given these reports, officers were extremely concerned about the public's safety, and over a period of a number of hours tried a number of options to safely capture the cow, because calling a farmer was out of the question. Unfortunately, these were unsuccessful, and the decision was made to stop it by using a police car. This matter has been referred to our Professional Standards Department, blah blah blah. With support from a member of the public, the cow was moved to a nearby farm in the early hours. The owner located and the cow's injuries assessed by a vet. The cow sustained a large cut to its leg, and the vet is overseeing its continued treatment and recovery. The cow should have never been rammed in the first sodding place. I'm sorry, I grew up surrounded by farms. You really didn't need to do that. Of course, public safety is important, but if you lead by showing you're willing to use extreme violence of a car to do so, you're showing how weak you are. Also how little you value life. That cow is now useless beef. Yes, I'm thinking that for a second. I'm going to make one joke, alright? No one wants tenderized beef, they want to tenderize it themselves. Okay, you get two jokes. Alright? You did not need to do what I've seen in that video, and I don't recommend you go and watch it, because that was far too hard. All you had to do was box the cow in. That's all you had to do. Box the cow in and get a professional on site. I know it was late, farmers would be slap. I promise you, somebody would have come to help that cow instantly. All you had to do was pursue that instead of going, nah fam, I want to ram because there's nothing saying I need permission for this one. Because in the UK, if you understand this, you need permission and you need to get forms signed just to pit maneuver someone. And this is embarrassing for you guys. You'll get a slap on the wrist and no doubt you'll be given a steak as compensation. From that cow no less. Which would explain the cut. I'm sure someone already took a slice of the action.